Ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet, today we are talking about one of my favorite projects in the entire NFT and gaming space, Enjin, and its new blockchain, Efinity. Now, Efinity is poised to become one of the primary platforms in the entire crypto ecosystem for a wide breadth of NFT use cases, addressing the problems of high fees, poor interoperability, and more. By the end of this video, you'll be equipped with the knowledge that you need to know about this exciting project. And that said, if you like crypto, you should subscribe to the channel and hit the bell notification button because we got plenty more educational content on the way in the crypto space for you. Now, first things first, let me give you a clear view of what Efinity is, where it came from, what its purpose is, and then we can dive deeper into the specific technology details. That's what this show is all about. So Efinity is a new blockchain network built using the underlying framework for Polkadot compatible blockchains. And it's tailor-made for non-fungible tokens, or NFTs, and use cases that leverage NFTs. Efinity is designed to tackle the most prevalent issues facing NFTs as a technology. Things that I mentioned before, like high fees, poor interoperability, and other things like poor user experience and poor scalability. The team behind the project has been building in the gaming space for over a decade, prior outside of crypto and now in the crypto space, and has been working in the NFT and blockchain gaming space for nearly 5 years under the name of Enjin. You might already be familiar with Enjin, and Enjin has made several notable contributions to the space in the form of the fantastic NFT-focused wallet, the Enjin wallet, and powerful ERC-1155 token standard smart contracts, and it's been at the forefront of this technology since the very beginning of NFTs. So Efinity is the latest addition to the burgeoning Enjin ecosystem, and it will be the flagship blockchain network for Enjin's lofty goals for the adoption of NFTs for gaming and a variety of other use cases. Now, it would be foolish for me to gloss over one of the most important parts of Efinity's design, which I've alluded to now twice, which is that it is built to be compatible with the Polkadot network. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the Polkadot network is the brainchild of one of the chief architects behind Ethereum and its Solidity scripting language for smart contracts, Gavin Wood. Polkadot is designed to be an interoperable network upon which many purpose-built blockchains can communicate natively and securely. In other words, Polkadot is a base layer that lets many different blockchain networks called parachains exchange data and value between one another freely, letting each parachain or blockchain focus on its design for a given purpose or function instead of trying to do it all, which is what we see right now in the blockchain space. So to build for compatibility with Polkadot, one can leverage a powerful framework called Substrate, which provides a set of modules and functionality to build one's own purpose-built blockchain or parachain. For example, using Substrate, one can build a blockchain that's designed specifically to accommodate NFTs, or DeFi, or digital identity, based on its design or construction down to the consensus mechanism and transaction mechanics. So it's basically a tool to build blockchains. In general, each module or component in Substrate is called a pallet, which encapsulates functionality that a Substrate chain can use at runtime. And this video is not all about Polkadot, but without this context, it can be a little bit hard to wrap one's head around what Efinity is building and how they're doing it. So that being said, Efinity is aiming to be a formal parachain in the Polkadot network, and they've actually achieved this goal. More on that in a second, which means that the Substrate-based blockchain they've built is one of the limited parachains in a limited number of slots in the Polkadot network. So parachains can lease a slot in the Polkadot network by bonding or locking up the native DOT token during what are called the parachain auctions, which have been going on in late 2021 and into 2022. In fact, Efinity, like I mentioned, was successful in winning a slot in the parachain auctions, so full focus is now shifted to bringing to life the technology and vision outlined in this video. If you want to learn more about the inner workings of Polkadot, please let me know in the comments. I'm working on a video there. Now that you know what Efinity is in relation to Polkadot and what its purpose is, let's look at the technology that sets Efinity apart as a purpose-built blockchain network for the full gamut of NFT use cases. And in the intro, I alluded to a few big challenges that the NFT space has faced since the outset. And we don't need to review them again. You probably can remember what they are. If you've purchased an NFT before, you'll likely have experienced the effects of poor interoperability. You need a specific wallet. for the blockchain that you're using in order to get an NFT. You can't really move that NFT to another blockchain without trusting a bridge, which is generally not a great idea. And as a result of the functionality and the potential market you have access to on that NFT, it can be quite limited because of the fact that there's no interoperability. You're stuck in one ecosystem. So you can easily see why Efinity was designed to leverage the Polkadot network rather than Ethereum or another existing layer 1 blockchain, because Polkadot by design allows Efinity to interoperate natively with many other blockchains in and of itself. And this means that instead of limiting users' NFTs to one single network, Efinity serves as sort of a super highway for NFTs from a variety of different blockchains and ecosystems. So on Efinity, one will be able to move the plethora of NFTs from Ethereum straight to Efinity to unlock new functionality, new markets, and of course, the ability to freely transfer those NFTs to a wide range of different blockchains in the Polkadot sphere. Now, the clear challenges with high fees is inextricably linked to the issue of poor scalability, especially on networks like Ethereum. There are large swaths of people who simply cannot even afford to own or transfer NFTs because of high fees. And on networks that do not suffer from these high fees, people find themselves stuck in a potentially less developed NFT ecosystem where they can't sell or use their NFTs. So building upon the interoperability mentioned in the last section, which will provide rich, unified ecosystem for NFTs, Efinity is also built to scale to accommodate the demands of a global NFT market. The current estimation based on load testing is that Efinity will be able to handle between 700 and 1,000 transactions per second with an average transaction validation time of around 6 seconds, which is more than adequate for most, if not all, use cases, including gaming and GameFi. And with this degree of scalability, Efinity will be able to provide a platform on which NFTs can be minted, exchanged, and transferred widely without fees being a worry for users. Fees will just fade into the background. Efinity will also provide a powerful feature that I think all blockchains should consider adding, which is support for a fee payer signature within transactions. And what this does is it allows a third party to sign and assume responsibility for some or all of the transaction fees for a given transaction on the Efinity blockchain, which has broad applicability for NFT marketplaces, for games, and more, where a third party might wish to pay or subsidize transaction fees for its users. And this is a brilliant move to have fee payer delegation built into the protocol itself. And to take advantage of this feature more readily and programmatically, there's also a component called fuel tanks, which are basically specialized accounts that hold the native EFI token to pay for transaction fees using the fee payer signature feature that I just talked about. And for those who like to know the technical terms, these special accounts are called discrete accounts, which are basically accounts on Efinity that can be given permissions and roles to perform operations on the network, but don't have their own private key. Instead, discrete accounts are controlled by one-to-many standard accounts, which are the traditional accounts you and I might have in a multi-signature scheme or a single signer environment. Powerful stuff, bottom line. Anyway, with this feature, a developer can fill up an EFI fuel tank and use a smart contract to define conditions or types of transactions that should be paid for on behalf of users to automate the process of paying for user fees on an application. So together with scalability and subsequent lower fees, these features provide layers of programmability and flexibility for how users pay fees and for what, and which is an underrated feature. Now, last but certainly not least is the topic of user experience, which I actually acknowledge kind of overlaps with the idea of fee delegation and fuel tanks, etc. Anyways, Efinity has clearly given this a lot of thought and placed excessive emphasis on user experience, taking their user experience in the space as lessons learned. First and foremost, we must talk about the crown jewel of user experience in crypto, the wallet. The Enjin wallet product is legitimately the best NFT wallet that exists. And I don't say that lightly because there's some really good ones out there, but it's available on iOS and Android, and it's beautifully designed. It has every feature one would need to delve deeply into NFTs. It's great. And you can create nearly infinite wallets to organize your assets. You have direct integration with the marketplace offering in the Enjin space to exchange NFTs and swap fungible assets. And you have the native functionality to interact with decentralized applications. The Enjin wallet is a huge advantage for Efinity because it already has over 500,000 monthly active users that will be able to hit the ground running on Efinity here in really short order. And so user experience going beyond the wallet is really indicative of different features that are built into the protocol that provide value to users in a significant way and how they use the protocol. And so Efinity will feature a core marketplace that will be native to the network, and it'll serve as a place where fungible and non-fungible tokens from many different blockchains can be exchanged, bought, and sold in one single place using bid and ask orders. The network effects that can be wrought from this unification of marketplace activities is something that I'm pretty excited about. Artists and creators can now list their NFTs in one single place and access markets from all around the crypto ecosystem on different blockchains without having to go and manually list and bridge assets and deal with stuff on cross-chain. More users can then flock to this one single marketplace and further incentivize artists and creators to list there, getting that flywheel going for growth. More users, more buyers equals more artists, which means more buyers. Great. Another powerful feature is crafting, which allows developers and users to define recipes for token types and attributes that can be repeatably minted on Efinity or used to modify existing tokens, which is a really powerful tool for gamification and creativity for apps and services built on Efinity. For example, a game can define its assets as NFTs on Efinity as a recipe for a rare item that requires an input of X number of common items to craft that rare item up to a certain max supply that's defined in the recipe. Amazing, right? So if you think back to the fuel tank example, the game developer could tag the recipe as one token transaction that's covered by the EFI in that fuel tank, covering the costs of user crafting in that token. You see how everything kind of fits together? So at the core of most of these features is a common theme. It's the function of working with tokens and using them. That said, I've left the ever-interesting topic of tokens on Efinity untouched to this point, so you have full context for what I will share in regards to the details surrounding tokens on Efinity. And arguably, the most important and impactful element of Efinity is the Paratoken standard that has been developed to underpin all of the aforementioned features and modules. And as you may know, as I mentioned in the beginning, the team behind Enjin and Efinity is responsible for my favorite token standard smart contract in Ethereum, and that is ERC 1155, which defines an efficient method for creating many fungible and non-fungible tokens in one contract. There are few teams, if any, that I would trust more to create the future of token standards than this one. That said, the Paratoken standard on Efinity is unique in that it natively supports fungible, non-fungible, and class-based NFTs that are compatible with both Polkadot and Kusama. In other words, the Paratoken standard is like the mighty Excalibur for tokenization use cases of pretty much any kind. In fact, the Paratoken standard is directly compatible with ERC20, ERC 721, and ERC 1155 from Ethereum as well. The native EFI token, a fungible utility in the Efinity network, is the first ever Paratoken, and it will showcase some of the powerful features one can extract from this new standard. EFI will power the whole network economy on Efinity through staking, governance, and passive income from economic activity by users. In addition, the existing ENJ token that lives on Ethereum will still play an important part in this ecosystem because it can be staked to earn EFI in the process. And ENJ was itself a brilliant invention in the Enjin ecosystem in its own right, where ENJ is used to infuse value into an NFT as an input to mint. This means that each NFT always has liquidity on hand to melt back into ENJ. So with the advent of Efinity, ENJ and ENJ infused into NFTs can be staked to earn EFI. And with this EFI, users can pay fees, participate in governance, and use the Efinity swap platform and exchange to use those tokens in many different ways. Users will also be able to earn passive income denominated in EFI by placing bids on NFTs that live on Efinity, which incentivizes economic activity on the network. And for those who are curious, there are 2 billion total EFI tokens in supply, and you can find a breakdown of the token allocations to various elements in the network through the link in the description below. Remember, my channel is about fundamentals and technology, not about tokens or buying tokens. But the good news is that there are so many ways to earn the EFI token by simply just participating in the network. So you don't have to worry about buying them, just participate. You can run collator nodes that help operate the network in the Polkadot ecosystem. You can participate in governance by staking. You can buy and sell assets. You can develop projects with grants. You can do all sorts of stuff. So the moral of the story is get involved in the Efinity ecosystem. Learn more about it and be a part of the development of this new network, pushing the Enjin universe into the multi-chain future. In 2022, Efinity and the greater Enjin ecosystem will be set for rapid development and growth. By the time you're watching this, it's very possible that Efinity will be well past having locked in their slot in the Polkadot network during the second batch of parachain auctions, which, plot twist, they did. And thereafter, it will be time to go live on mainnet with Efinity and kickstart the development of applications and services that utilize the powerful tools and features that we discussed in this video. As always, you can find further reading material to continue your research in the description box below, and I encourage you to get subscribed and check out some of the other crypto-related educational content I have on the channel that I will link up here on the screen. I hope you and your family have a wonderful week ahead, and until next time, cheers.